Eto na lang, hindi ito maipaliwanag ni Sara
I
Duterte.
received a total of 9 envelopes labeled Hope, my concurrent position on DEPED during that time. These envelopes were handed to me mostly by Assistant Secretary Sunshine Fajarda, which she says came directly from Vice President Duterte.
With the narration of our resource speaker, she earlier manifested that she believes that those envelopes are means to influence her decision as Hope.
I was approached, by Attorney Monsayak, and he suggested in the presence of other officials who was with me that the bidders should just discuss among themselves. Mag-usap-usap na lang para hindi masayang yung pera ng 2023. I firmly asserted that the procurement must be implemented and conducted in strict adherence with the rules.
Dahil tumanggi kayo na pag-usapan ang 2022 Continuing Fund, posible na ito ang dahilan kung bakit kayo pinag-resign ni Attorney Zuluaga.
Gloria Mercado is a disgruntled former employee of the Department of Education. Dapat siguro kung mag-akusa siya ng ganyan, dapat may papel siya.
I don't want to do this, but since siya na yung nagsabi, i-turn over ko na yung envelope. My
Ayan
name is Gloria Humamil Mercado. I was appointed as DEPED Undersecretary by President Marcos, as recommended by Vice President Sara Duterte in 2022. In February 2023, I was designated as the head of the procuring entity of DEPED. Between February 2023 to September 2023, I received a total of 9 envelopes labeled Hope. These envelopes were handed to me mostly by Assistant Secretary Sunshine Fajarda, which she says came directly from Vice President Duterte. Sometimes in October 2023, as the likelihood of a bidding failure for DEPED computerization have become apparent, I was approached, by Attorney Monsayak, and he suggested in the presence of other officials who was with me that the bidders should just discuss among themselves. Mag-usap-usap na lang para hindi masayang yung pera ng 2023. I firmly asserted that the procurement must be implemented and conducted in strict adherence with the rules. Sometimes on the 3rd or 4th week of October, I was summoned by Zulaika Lopez, the Chief of Staff of the Vice President and Undersecretary of the OBP. I was informed that I should tender my resignation effective that day. I refused to resign and I insisted on departing from service through voluntary retirement. The timing of my meeting with Ms. Zulaika struck me as more than coincidental. It gave me the impression that my candid responses was the real reason behind the push to relieve me of my office. It was as if I have become an unwelcome obstacle, despite simply doing my job as Hope and Undersecretary of Human Resource of DEPED.
In connection dito sa 37,000, ilang 37,500,000 pong cheque ang napirmahan po ninyo? Habang Hope po kayo?
Mr. Chair, I'm not very sure if it's 2 or 3.
Okay.
It should be around that.
2 or 3. So more or less, mga nasa 54 million. Ano po yung laman nitong siyam na envelope na to?
It's 50,000 pesos.
So 50,000 times 9,
It's 450 po. And
450.
they issued me a receipt for that 450.
Sino po nag-issue ng receipt?
Yung the one who it's an
The one na...
an NGO that I
Okay, so
donated
yung
the money.
pinag-donate po ninyo.
Yes.
Do you have that receipt?
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Can we
Yes,
have a
Mr.
copy
Chair.
of the receipt,
Yes,
ma'am?
Mr. Chair.
Thank you po.
Tama po bang sabihin, ma'am, na yun pong regular monthly envelope which you later on found out contains 50,000 per envelope ay nag-umpisa lamang nung kayo na-appoint as head of procuring entity?
As far I'm still keeping those envelopes, so I would like to say yes.
And what do you think is the reason kung bakit yung envelope nag-start lang during your appointment as Hope?
I think
Bakit po walang envelope nung HR pa lang kayo? Tapos biglang nagka-envelope nung naging hope kayo?
I think it's like an allowance maybe for an extra work because sometimes I have to stay until midnight to look at the documents.
Why were you so uncomfortable with the envelope when you believe that that is just an allowance?
Because, Mom, I'm 40 years. Mr. Chair, I'm 40 years in government. The only time I have an ombudsman case is when I advise my principal not to sign an importation. When I was the deputy cabinet secretary, and I advised my principal not to sign an importation because there was no rice crisis. That's my only ombudsman. I have to protect that name.
The reason why you are considering all these concerns is because you believe that the envelope is a bribe. Do you agree? Yes or no, ma'am?
It's kind of harsh word to use, bribe, because if
Or should I say, it is a means to influence your decision being the hope?
It could be.
You said yes to that? You said it could be.
Could be.
I wish to manifest, Mr. Chair, that on the story, on the narration of the resource speaker about this envelope she received and she refused to open until the same is donated from February 2023 to September 2023 is a means actually to influence the decision of our resource speaker being the one who approved all the decision of the BAC in behalf of the DEPED secretary. You mentioned in this paragraph that a certain attorney Reynold Monsayak suggested in the presence of 3 DEPED officials na pag-usapan na lang ang 2022 budget para hindi masayang. However, you firmly asserted that the procurement must be implemented and conducted in strict adherence with the rules. Do you confirm this?
Yes.
And Attorney Monsayak heard that.
Yes po.
And after this incident, ma'am, what happened?
Parang a day, mga afternoon, I got a text. When I got the text, it was a familiar text because these were the same texts that is sent to those who are asked to leave as well. So when I arrived at the OBP's office in Mandaluyong, sinabi na there's this issue of a teacher that is in my office and some other issues. So kinat ko na lang si Yusek Solaika, sabi ko, in my 40 years in government, I knew that I work on trust. So if the principal doesn't trust me anymore, then you don't have to find reason for me to go. So I'm ready to resign, to retire.
For the record, ma'am, did you resign or did you retire?
I'm being asked to resign. I did not. I retired. I
You
applied
retired.
for retirement.
So when did you retire?
Effective November 1.
So that is 1 month
No.
from the supposed date
No,
when
they
you're
don't
supposed to retire?
They don't like 1 month. I was actually trying to ask for December 30, but they wanted it on that day that they spoke to me.
Sasang-ayon po ba kayo if I would say na yung pagtanggi nyo kay Attorney Reynold Monsayak na pag-usapan na lang yung 2022 continuing fund ang dahilan kung bakit kayo pinagre-resign ni Attorney Zulueta?
That's very speculative, ma'am.
From your point of view, ma'am, it can be right, it can be wrong, but from your point of view,
It could be.
it could be the reason. Dahil tumanggi kayo na pag-usapan ang 2022 continuing fund, posible na ito ang dahilan kung bakit kayo pinag-resign ni Attorney Zulueta.
Dapat siguro kung mag-akusa siya ng ganyan, dapat may papel siya. Tulad ng ako, pag inaakusahan ako, pag sumasagot ako, binibigay ko yung papel. Gloria Mercado is a disgruntled former employee of the Department of Education. She was let go because of loss of trust and confidence sa Office of the Secretary.
I think I don't want to do this, but since siya na yung nagsabi, i-turn over ko na yung envelope. The envelopes where the money was.
Comsec? Comsec?
So it's 9 envelopes.
Kuha po yung
So
envelope.
it says hope and the amount is there. Kasi ang sakit naman nun, ordinaryo lang akong trabahante tapos inano ka ng vice president, di ba? It's very painful.
At
Yan
least,
po yung
Mr.
isang
Chair, I would know the
himaya,
Vice
no?
President is watching us.
Yan po ang isang hindi masagot ni Sara Duterte at ang sinabi lang disgruntled employee etong si Gloria Mercado, pero yun pala sinusuhulan nila.
At least,
Kasi sa totoo lang, kung ito po ay meron pong ginawang hindi maganda sa DepEd, bakit hindi kinasuhan sa ombudsman? Bakit pinag-resign lang? Pinag-resign lang o pinag-retire lang? Diba? Dapat, kung ganong meron pala kayong nalamang korupsyon na ginawa ni Gloria Mercado, diba? Dapat, pinakulong to. Kinasuhan sa ombudsman, sa Sandigan Bayan. Kung saan man to pwedeng kasuhan.
Mr. Chair, I would know the Vice President is watching us because she just had a press conference and she said that she's denying giving former DepEd Undersecretary Gloria Mercado 50,000 for 9 months. And the Vice President saying that Mercado was let go because she used DepEd to solicit donations from the private sector amounting to 16 million without her knowledge. And she adds that she will provide the media with paper trail to back up her claim, describing Mercado as a disgruntled former DepEd official. I think, ma'am, given your long history and long service to the Republic, 40 long years, I think it's fair
It's
for you to
very
be given the
sad.
opportunity to reply to the Vice President.
I think I don't want to do this, but since siya na yung nagsabi,
Ayan na, ilalabas
i-turn
na.
over ko na yung envelope.
Hmm.
The envelopes where the money was.
Comsec?
Diba? Kita nyo, oh. Nag-press con si Sara Duterte, oh. Ayan, oh. Inilabas ni Gloria Mercado yung envelope na kung saan doon nilalagay o binibigay yung mga suhol, 50,000 isang buwan, 9 months nakatanggap si Miss Gloria Mercado ng suhol na yun. Diba? Hindi masagot ni Sara yan. Ano sagot lang niya? Disgruntled. Disgruntled lang daw na tauhan si Gloria Mercado.
Comsec?
So it's 9 envelopes.
Kuha po yung envelope.
So it says hope and the amount is there. Kasi ang sakit naman nun, ordinaryo lang akong trabahante tapos inano ka ng vice president, di ba? It's very painful.
Ma'am, ilang taon na po kayo? I hope you don't mind. Hindi, gusto ko lang pong malaman kasi sabi po ninyo 40 years na po kayo in government.
I'm 65, sir, but
So when you were appointed as USEC noong 2022 ba? 2022? How old were you at
I
that
was 64.
64.
Yeah.
I'm sure sa edad ninyong yan, after pagkatapos nyo pong pag-ingatan yung iyong pangalan for the past 40 years?
Sagutin ko yun. Yes, sir.
So, okay, anyway,
Sir,
Mr. Chairman,
I'd like to...
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, dito po ako.
Ay,
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chair, can I continue first?
Congressman, wait, before I recognize Congressman Paduano, ma'am. Yes.
I believe
With the indulgence of Congressman Asidre, please continue, Congressman.
Mr. Chair, can we allow Yusek Mercado to continue with the response? Because I was trying to ask her about the 16 million that the Vice President mentioned.
Oh, please respond with respect to the 16 million. 1660. 16 million.
I would like to respond to that because it's a press con. When I was called for by Yusek Sulaika, he said, Yusek Mercado, you have to go because one, you have a teacher in your staff. But I explained to them that the teacher was a contract of services when I joined DEPED. And the teacher has a pending application in Cebu because he's from the Visayas. And while he was working with us, he qualified for the RQA. But then when he received his appointment as a teacher, it was already past the opening of the class. It was almost opening, and the teaching load was already apportioned.
Yun ang nakapagtataka, no? Sinasabi nila, si Miss Gloria Mercado daw, nangingikil ng 16 million sa mga, sa ibang kumpanya. Ngayon, bakit hindi nila to pinakasuhan sa ombudsman? Ba't pinag-retire lang? Nanay Melita de la Cruz, hello po. Nay Merlita Berhel de Dios, Kuya Jose Dionisio, ayan, shoutout po sa inyo. Nagsimula na po ang hearing doon po sa sa Kongreso. Ayan, at puntahan na po natin to. Dito na po tayo. Tignan natin kung meron pong tauhan ng OBP dito. Salamat po sa mga mag-share, magla-like at magko-comment.
Lanao del Sur. Honorable Daniel A. Manuel of Party List Kabataan. Honorable Vice Chairperson Jefferson F. Conghun of the 1st District of Zambales. Honorable Deputy Speaker David